Hello everyone, this is Rob Cantley here at Borneo Exotics, and I'd like to take a look at this super amazing cross that I always have to examine every time I come in the nurseries. It catches my eye. This is boschiana cross lowii, sold as assorted clones under BE-4067 and available through any of our distributors if you would like to own this plant. Really lovely. Let's look at one of the newer pictures here at the background. And if you look closely, you can see the hairs underneath the lid from the lowii parentage. The boschiana characteristics also showing through, and pitcher's quite flared. So this is not yet an upper pitcher. This is still lower to intermediate. It's got a way to go to become an upper. So we expect it to become quite a bit more flared. And if we look here also at an older pitcher, look at that under the lid, all the nectar, very much like Nepenthes lowii. The nectar drips down actually into the pitcher. So as there's nothing to actually consume the nectar in the nurseries, it often ends up back in the pitcher and I presume gets recycled. So lovely. The pitcher's very tough. It's got this robust texture to it. I'm not sure if I can actually show that to you while I'm filming. Let's have a go. There we go. Tough like Nepenthes lowii. And very deep dark coloration. It's a random assortment of a very large number of clones taken as a mixture from microprop and seed grown. So a lot of different individuals, but so far all the ones we've seen have this deep dark coloration and look just like this one here. Here's a quick look at one of the parent species we often use in our hybridization programs. This is Nepenthes boschiana. And as you can see from the pitcher tendril, it's an upper pitcher, no wings on the front of the pitcher. The appearance between individuals of this species is quite consistent. There's not a massive amount of variation. And it's also an item we do sell individually. Next door to it, there's another one on the same plant. So that's a quick look at the upper pitcher of Nepenthes boschiana. Well, nestling in here is a species we use a lot in our hybridization programs. This is Nepenthes lowii. Absolutely distinctive, unique species. We do sell it in its own right as well under a BE code. This is the Trusmadi form of the species. This is the upper pitcher, and one of the most characteristic and distinctive of all Nepenthes. The upper pitcher is completely unmistakable. The only thing that's maybe a little similar is Nepenthes aphipiata. But look at the nectar. Look at the nectar underneath the lid. It's wonderful. It's a complete mass of nectar. That is exuded by the plant for consumption by a particular species of tree shrew, which lives on Mount Trusmadi, where this plant grows. As you may know, it's a very famous example of mutualism. The tree shrew only lives where the Nepenthes lowii grows, and the Nepenthes lowii only grows where the tree shrew lives. So they work together in that the tree shrew will come and sit on the rim of the pitcher and lick the nectar under here, and it will poop. It will defecate into the pitcher and feed the pitcher. So tree shrew poop is the primary source of nutriment in the natural habitat for Nepenthes lowii. And in the nurseries, though, we don't have too many tree shrews. So what we have to do is fertilize it. So you can grow it quite well with fertilizing. So normally this nectar will be licked off by the tree shrews and be fairly absent on plants in the wild. But in a nursery, it will build up to a mass amount like this, unless, of course, it's washed off by overhead sprinklers. And we do have overhead sprinklers in this nursery, but it just so happens that the surrounding leaves have actually shielded the lid of the pitcher from the water from the sprinklers, which otherwise would wash it off and dissolve it. A wonderful hybrid parent, tough pitchers, absolutely. Let me see if I can show you. Maybe you can't hear that, but they are so tough, just like wood. And really wonderful. The lower pitcher too is fantastic, also has very long hairs on it and exudes nectar. Very different in shape, it's more cylindrical, not quite as flared as the upper pitchers. Here we are, a little look at one of our favourite species in the entire nursery, and one of the species we use a lot for making wonderful hybrids. It normally transfers its characteristics to the offspring and gives most interesting upper pitchers. There we are, that's a little look for you at Nepenthes boschiana cross lowii, BE-4067, available from any of our distributors. Just click on the link.